The Norse world was a land of stark beauty, but winter brought a relentless struggle for survival. The sun barely rose, leaving Scandinavia in a near-perpetual twilight. Snow buried the land, and icy winds threatened to freeze the very marrow in one's bones. Survival was a daily battle. Farming halted, fishing became perilous, and every scrap of food and firewood was precious. The greatest enemy wasn't a rival clan, but the creeping cold that could steal life itself. Families huddled together, fighting not just the elements, but also the isolation and despair of endless darkness. To endure was to win. The first signs of spring were a true victory. This harsh reality shaped Viking culture, demanding practical, ingenious solutions. Every tool, every structure was honed by necessity. Their survival depended on understanding and working with their environment. In this crucible of ice and darkness, the Vikings forged one of their greatest innovations. Not just a shelter, but a fortress against the cold. A structure designed to keep the fragile flame of life alive through the endless night. The longhouse. The Viking longhouse was more than a home. It was a marvel of survival engineering. From outside it looked simple, long, low, and blending into the landscape. Its thick wattle and daub walls, sometimes double-layered and packed with moss, trapped precious heat. The steep turf-covered roof shed snow and insulated like a living blanket. Inside, a single communal space stretched the length of the house, with no wasted rooms or corridors. The central hearth, the long fire, provided light, warmth, and a place to cook. Raised wooden platforms along the walls kept people off the cold ground and closer to the fire's warmth. Ingeniously, one end of the longhouse sheltered livestock, whose body heat mingled with the fires, helping to warm the entire space. There was no solid wall between people and animals. Warmth was shared. The animals were not just resources, but essential partners in survival. Every element of the longhouse was designed for one purpose: to keep its inhabitants alive through the brutal winter. It was a communal fortress against the cold. The longhouse was a masterclass in passive heating. Thick walls and turf roofs acted as thermal batteries, absorbing heat from the fire and bodies by day, releasing it slowly at night. This thermal mass kept the interior stable, even as temperatures outside plunged. The earth beneath the house acted as a giant heat sink, further moderating the climate inside. Airflow was managed with small adjustable smoke holes, keeping warmth in and letting smoke out. The smoke, while bothersome, cured meats and deterred pests. Raised sleeping platforms lifted people into the warmest air. Every feature, fire, earth, wood, animals, worked together in a finely tuned system. The Vikings didn't have modern science, but their design was rooted in a deep intuitive understanding of survival. The longhouse was a living, breathing machine for warmth. Modern homes rely on active systems, furnaces, insulation, and electricity to keep us warm. We enjoy perfect comfort at the push of a button, but it comes at a cost and complexity, expense, and dependence on external energy. A power outage can turn a modern house dangerously cold in hours. Our airtight homes can trap pollutants and moisture, disconnecting us from the environment. The Viking longhouse, by contrast, was a passive system, resilient, efficient, and built from local natural materials. Its strength was synergy, with the land using earth for insulation, orienting to block wind, and harnessing animal warmth. Of course, it had downsides: darkness, smoke, and little privacy. But in its mission, keeping people alive through winter with minimal resources, it was unmatched. The longhouse embodied resilience, intelligent design, and community. It was a masterpiece of sustainable engineering, born from necessity. The Vikings worked with nature, not against it. Their homes were part of the landscape, not an imposition upon it. The lessons of the longhouse are more relevant than ever. As we face climate change and rising energy costs, architects are rediscovering passive design. Thick walls, living roofs, and thermal mass, once Viking innovations, are now at the heart of sustainable building. Shared living and resource pooling, once necessities, are re-emerging in co-housing and multi-generational homes. The Longhouse reminds us we're stronger and warmer together. True resilience comes from intelligent design and community, not just technology. The ancient wisdom of the Norsemen still guides us toward a more sustainable future. In the echoes of the Longhouse, we find inspiration for how to build, live, and survive together.